We're making some of my favorite embellishments. These are quick, easy, budget-friendly, and oh so festive. Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. These are my go-to doodads and embellishments that we're making today. Let's get into it. We'll start with this gorgeous vintage-style festooning garland. We'll need some crepe paper in the colors of your choice. This will be for my upcoming Easter projects, so I'm using spring colors. We need string. This is just utility cotton string. 3-in-1 glue or another flexible glue like rubber cement. You technically can use hot glue, but I recommend a more flexible adhesive. And we'll need some scissors. I cut 6 lengths of crepe paper, 2 in each color. They're about 3 feet long. This is a good length because it's easy to work with, and they can be tied together if you want longer. They can also be cut if you want shorter. We're going to alternate the colors when we stack them, but first, we need a length of string that's a few inches longer than our crepe paper. We'll want it to hang over both ends, so I'm guessing it should be about 40 inches or so. I add a line of glue lengthwise down the center, then I'll place my next layer on top, doing my best to align them at the ends, but more importantly, along the sides. I'm sandwiching the white in the middle there. I had a little bit of a gap there, so I'm just readjusting. That's another good reason not to use hot glue, because you wouldn't be able to do that if you hot glued it. I add another line of glue to this layer, and then I'll place the green layer on top of it. I'll make another repeating the process so that I have 2 lengths with 3 layers of crepe paper. And now I'll clip the ends to make them even. I run another line of glue down the center of one strip for our string. So actually, I'm going to go about halfway down the strand with the glue because otherwise I put my hand in it. And I'm just going to press the string into the glue, making sure that I have a couple inches overhanging the end. So once I get the string into the glue, then I'll add glue to the rest of the strand and press the rest of the string in. I'll add a wee bit more glue close to the string the entire way along the strand, then I'll place my other crepe paper layer on top of that. I want to ensure that there's enough glue on there to make sure that the top layer adheres to the bottom layer. And when I place this on, I want to make sure that my long sides are as aligned as possible. I fold the strand in half lengthwise, making sure that the string is in the center of the fold. Now we're going to cut slits from the edge of the crepe paper up to the string. Just be sure not to cut through the string. My slits are about 1/4 inch wide, and I'm going to cut the entire length of the strand. This is such an easy way to get some gorgeous vintage style festooning without the expense, and you can make it to suit your color palette. Once it's all cut, we'll unfold it, open it up so that you have fringe on both sides of your string. You kind of want to flatten it out. Grab an end and start twisting where you made your cuts. Give it a good twist at each cut. Look, you can already see how pretty it's going to be. I use this paper festooning in all different ways. It's perfect for paper projects. You've seen me use it as a collar decoration on my clay characters. I decorate my windows with it. It's just so versatile, so pretty, and really just so much fun. I mean, you guys, it really couldn't be easier. Look how pretty. It really is one of my favorite embellishments. Sticking with the crepe paper streamers, let's make a rosette. We'll need 6 12-inch strands of crepe paper. I've cut 3 green and 3 pink. We'll also need a threaded needle, some coordinating glitter, Mod Podge, and I printed some adorable vintage bunnies inside a circle onto cardstock for our center. We'll stack our streamers alternating colors, aligning the ends and the sides. I'll add a paper clip to one end and I'll snip the other end to make it even. I folded it in half, clipping the ends together to make it easier to handle. I also add clips along one side to keep the strands aligned. I cut off about a 1/4 inch from one of the long sides. This will give me the size rosette that I'm looking for. I'm going to save those wee bits we cut off for later. I open it up full length, reclip the end, and again, putting clips along the uncut side to keep it aligned. I'll take my threaded needle. I gave myself plenty of thread and knotted the end. I'll do a basting stitch about a 1/4 inch from the edge, doing a few stitches at a time and pulling the thread through. I'm doing this to keep the thread from tangling and to make sure that my stitches are straight and about the same length, so when I get to the end and gather the crepe paper, the ruffling is even. When I get to the end, I gently tug one end of the thread, ruching the crepe paper as I tug, gently moving it down the thread. Then, I'll pull a bit on the other end to get a tight gathering. Now that it's tightly gathered, I knot the 2 thread ends to form the rosette. Let me cut off the needle. And I'll knot the thread 2 or 3 times, and I'll cut off the excess. There we go. Now let's fluff it out. I separate each layer. I do the first layer on one side, then I'll do the first layer on the opposite side. I go back and forth until it's completely open. Almost there. There's something strangely satisfying about this. Once it's all fluffed out, I tamp it down a bit so that my bunny circle will fit in the center. But first, let's glam up that bunny with some glitter. I stroke some Mod Podge onto his ear, his bow, and his feet, and I shake on some glamour dust to add a little shimmer. Then I'll dot Mod Podge around the circle and add some of this really pretty aqua extra fine glitter. But of course, the glitter is optional. I know a lot of people don't like dealing with the mess of glitter, but I just love it. I think it's so pretty. Let's add some sparkle to the rosette. With a paintbrush, I'll apply Mod Podge to the edge of the ruffle. First, I sprinkle on some chunky pink glitter. Such a pretty color. Then I'll roll the edges in the glitter. I apply the Mod Podge with the paintbrush in sections just because it's much easier to handle than trying to Mod Podge the whole thing at once. You know what I mean? And so it goes until the entire edge is covered in glitter. If any of the layers are stuck together, I just peel them apart with my fingers. So shimmery. Love it. With a little bit of hot glue, I attach the bunny to the center. We'll make some tails from the scraps we cut off earlier. I'll drape them in half and twist the pipe cleaner around the middle. I'll snip off any excess, and we'll attach it to the back of the rosette after we give it some glittery goodness. I'm stroking on some Mod Podge just to the bottom of the tails, and then I'll sprinkle on some of that beautiful pink glitter. A dab of hot glue, and we'll add the tails to the back. So pretty. You can add a skewer to the back to add it to an assemblage or a floral arrangement. You can use it to embellish a wood piece or present, whatever you like. Another versatile embellishment is a simple tassel. All we need for this is some string and scissors. Super easy. I drape the string over my fingers, holding the end down with my thumb, wrapping the string around my fingers 30 times or so. Depending on how thick or thin you want your tassel, you can adjust how many wraps you do. Let me cut this from the spool. I pass a length of string through the center while it's still on my hand, pull it up to the top, and remove it from my hand. I'll tightly knot it at the top of the tassel there. Then I'll add another knot to the string for aesthetics. I lay it flat, then tie another bit of string around the tassel, about an inch from the top, and I double knot that. You could run that string around it a couple times if you like to give it that tassel-y bump at the top. But for today's video, I'm just going to do it the once. I find the center of the loop of string and cut, and I'll trim it even. You can add beads or hang it from another decorative item. Who doesn't love a tassel? Next up, how I make my wire hangers for my wood pieces. Starting with 19 gauge wire, I'll snip off about 12 to 14 inches. This will give me enough space to add a big old bow should I want to. If I'm not adding a bow or some such, I would use a smaller piece of wire. Okay, anyway, I'll bend it slightly, bringing the ends together like this, just making a soft curve in the wire. I grab a small paint bottle and wrap the wire around the back of it. And I'm going to cross one end of the wire over the other, like this. It's right up against the bottle. And I twist. This gauge of wire is very easy to manipulate. If I was using a stiffer, thicker gauge, I would use my drill to twist it. Should that be the case in a future project, I'll show you how I do that. So I twist all the way down, leaving about an inch open at the bottom, which allows me to thread it into the hole of any of my hanging items. Yeah, so that's another go-to embellishment for me. Sometimes I'll thread beads onto the wire to, make it a little more fancy. One of my all-time favorite easy embellishments is the paper medallion. Before we get into that though, I'll show you how I decal the edges of my wee paper texts. I ran into Michael's the other day and I saw these cool typeface alphabet stamps. They snap together. You can stack them too. Thought they were pretty cool. Had a coupon, so I got them for less than 10 bucks. Right, okay. So, I'll stamp out my Happy Easter text on cardstock. Let me cut off that extra paper. I leave a good amount of space around my word in case my tear goes wayward. I gently start tearing lengthwise, taking my time to control the tear. Then I tear lengthwise again. I do have decal scissors, but I like the look of the tear better. Okay, so then I tear the short sides. Pretty easy, right? To enhance the decal, I usually hit the edge with some ink, applying it with a cosmetic sponge. Sometimes I'll just dry brush some paint on there too. Either works equally well. Okay, onto the medallion. I have a piece of scrapbook paper here that's 12 inches by 6 inches. I'll cut this into two 3 by 12 pieces, which will give me a 6-inch circumference to my medallion. I'm using my Martha Stewart scoring board, which makes this really easy. So you can see there's a ruler along the side there, and there's a groove that runs down the board at every increment. I use the included scoring tool to cut the paper at the 3-inch mark. Okay, so right about here, I roll my eyes, realizing that I made this mistake once again. I cut my paper strips when I should have scored the paper before I cut it. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I align my paper with the ruler, and with my scoring tool, I'll crease the paper at every inch mark. This paper's thick, so I make a couple of passes into each groove to get a really good crease. And I'll do this all the way down the paper. I'll flip the paper over and score the other side at the 1/2-inch mark. If you wanted a tighter fold, you can score at the 1/2-inch and 1/4-inch mark. It's personal preference. If I'm doing a smaller medallion, 2 inches or smaller, that's when I use the 1/2 and 1/4-inch. But again, it's a matter of preference. I go ahead and score both strips of paper just the same. I accordion fold my paper. I've got my cute bunny in a circle for the centerpiece, and I've cut another circle for the back of the medallion. We'll glue the ends of the paper strips together with hot glue. To avoid creating a seam on the back of the medallion, I'll fit the ends of the paper strips together like this, fitting one over the other, adding glue to both sides of the end fold, and slide one onto the other. And I'll repeat this on the other end to form a loop. I push down to form the medallion, holding it in place with my fingers. I've cut a small piece of craft stick, which I'm going to glue right across the opening there. That'll help the medallion stay together. I glue the bunny center into place, and then I'll cover the craft stick with another circle to hide the mechanics and tidy the back up. I love decorating with medallions. They're easy, budget friendly, and they have such a festive feel. You can make them in any size, you can cluster them, make garlands with them, wreaths. I love them. I added the Happy Easter text and the tassel to the medallion to add extra cuteness. Here's a final look at some of my favorite embellishments. I hope you like them, and I hope this is a good resource for you to come back to whenever you want a little refresher to make any of these items. Let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.